Do you want early access? Do you want uncut reactions? If so, then check out our Patreon. Link in the description down below. As a fictional famous person once said, "Oh, it is good to be back." The Kingdom of Falmouth, which Noir, or Diablo, seems to be really, really capable of taking care of, to the point of where he managed to get terms done so quickly it baffled everybody.
Well, I was thinking about it, and I was like, if you think back to the flashback where he was first introduced, right?
Yes.
There was a much lesser demon than him that had essentially secretly taken over a kingdom there.
Yes.
So, if that guy can do it, of course he can. Like, and probably way more efficiently.
Yeah.
So, makes sense to me.
Nah, that's me too. I don't know what's going to happen this season, but so far we got off to a banger with the first episode, and I guess we're going to...
Also, look at this freaking building that's in the background here.
No, I see it.
So I'm like...
It's an apartment building.
Yeah, I would never expect to see like a high-rise building like that in a fantasy setting.
Unless this was in the city... Unless this was in the city where that one dude set up, the one who's trying to sabotage Rimuru.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be, but... at the same time, like, even that big city, I didn't think about the idea of them having, like, modern-looking architecture like that. But I guess with him having, like, a seat of, like, influence within that city, and being originally from Japan, he could have brought that idea to the people of the city, and they could have constructed that since he's been there, perhaps.
But, alright, we got this episode queued up here. This one is episode 2 of Season 3. The Saints' Intentions. So let's check it out and let's see what the Saints' intentions really are. Here we go. Oh, it is.
グレーマンとのつながりが途絶えた。ロポレスが無事でよかったよ。バレンタインって昔会長と互角だったま。
落ちる新月の夜やったしな。運が良かったんや。それに、ワイはクレイマンほどアホやない。
ロプラス、そんな言い方はないでしょう。
I'm sorry, but it's
中国
true.
無視るキッカーフットマン。いいで、相手したるわ。
やめろお前たち。
That way that he just yelled that at him, I swear I've heard that in Yakuza.
It's probably a very similar voice actor.
I mean, it's probably just that's something they probably yell at each other in Yakuza when a fight's starting sometimes.
Yeah.
In Japanese, in my brain, it's just like I've heard that phrase before.
また何か悪巧みでっか？
一つ仕掛けてみようと思う。
Setting something up for him. I wonder what that might be.
I have a feeling he's gonna send what's her face to confront him again.
Oh, Hinata? There she is.
神聖法王国ルベリオス。
Chimera.
Yeah.
Or was that a manticore? I can't remember.
Yeah, because it's got a scorpion's tail.
Yep, manticore.
Hey, okay.
法王。その正体がルイというヴァンパイアであり、魔王ロイ・バレンタインの双子の兄であるということに。
Oh.
ヴァンパイアが神を名乗り、人間を支配している。ここまで滅ぼせた。
No.
わらわの信者まで騒がしいぞ。一体何をしているのじゃ。置いて死ぬことなど許さぬ。お前もよ人間。思った考えを抱いたまま死ぬでない。我の行いが悪かどうか、それを歪小な身で勝手に判断するとは何様じゃ。すべての自由意志を満足させる正義などない。それを行えると考える方が。
アレプルギスより帰還したロイを殺害し逃走したようだ。
そう。ロイは決して弱くない。偽りの称号であれ、魔王を名乗るに足る実力を持っていた。一致しない。だから彼の言い分など聞かず、あの町を排除しようとしたのに。
天使が動くか。
ええ。あのままやらを私が始末してまいりましょう。
Good luck with that.
ひなたよ、そなたは確かに強くなった。 じゃが魔王リムルはともかく
それだけ凄まじい存在なのだ。
しかし勇者によって封
Plus,
印
you
され
all
たの
should
でしょう。
see how many
Yo-
friends he has now.
Yeah,
There's a
exactly.
whole lot of other people that are gonna get in the way if you try to go after him.
いっぱいだったかもしれない。教義を守る意味でも対応が間違っていたとは思いたくない。の商人の意図なのだとしたら忌々しいわね。もしかすると内通者が。
You got
それで
played.
はたちが目立ってくれればハムシどもの標的になってくれるであろう。今は考えても仕方あるまいよ。魔物は人類共通の敵というルミナス教
Yeah,
の教
that's
義を
the other thing
あの
too.
者たちの
悪な魔王として
Wonder
我
why the
ら
angels
の
take
共犯
such
者
issue with a new city forming in this world.
I don't know. I think maybe they're like a form of like maintaining balance.
イングラシア王国の先行の正行か。その通りじゃ。相手が何を
Lightspeed Masayuki from the Kingdom of Ingracia.
その通りじゃ。相手が何をされたか理解できぬうちに倒すという無抵抗で魔物の軍門に下るなどよろしいでしょうか。
Without resisting, you lost your entire fucking army. If you were there and you'd have seen what would have happened, then you wouldn't be talking all this shit.
ワーフ王ガゼルは中立の立場を守るでしょうか。いや、
Well, they did
問
it.
題にすべきは
Yeah, him and Rimuru are like this, son.
王国がモーセジュラの大森林の名手を名乗る魔物リムルが魔王になると宣言したそうです。なんとこれは、
Oh,
いや逆に
that's-
好奇ですぞ。魔が魔王リムルに討ち取られたとのことです。はバカな。さらにカリオンフレイが魔王位を返上の上で世は退位する。そして後継者にはエドワルドを推す。兄上何ですと。会えます。
Given everything? Oh.
建前上はファルムス王国もテンペストを国家として認めた形になったのだ。
Well, so once again, like the scheming brother, like that right there, that makes me think. I'm just like, I wonder what he's got planned. I wonder what he's got on his mind.
He clearly wants to be the king, but Rimuru already has other plans for how that's going to work out. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, Edward becoming king, it's a big thing. Also, is there anything afterwards? No, there's not. Okay.
He's inheriting an empire of shit at this point.
Yes. And honestly, like
'Cause there's a lot of problems that just got heaped upon it.
yeah, like paying back that 10,000 like stellar gold coins.
Where are you going to go without an army right now?
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
You neglected to become a vassal state, so Rimuru and Tempest have no obligation to protect you.
There you go.
If you get put in charge instead of Rimuru's friend, he really won't have any obligation to protect you at all.
Yeah.
So he doesn't realize how bad of a deal that is.
Yes, that's oh god. It's not gonna end well.
It's not gonna do what you think, man.
No, not at all.
It's just gonna make your whole life worse.
Yeah, and honestly, that's about what I expect, considering the bad decisions that Falmouth has already made. It's just like,
Got
well,
a lot of those ignorant old dudes in charge, don't they?
yeah, they do. Nobility. What good is nobility if the people who act on your behalf do not act noble? Nobility, that's what it's supposed to mean. It's supposed to be in greater service of the people. I think that's going to do it for this. This was that time I got reincarnated as a slime. This was episode 2 of season 3, The Saints' Intentions. Very much a very talk-oriented episode.
But those are fine with the show, thankfully.
Yes, there were very little to any problems that I had with this. This was actually really good.
Yeah, I don't think I had a lot to say during it. Like, I tried to insert some things during the second half, but, like, mostly I was just taking in all the
Information.
conversations they were having about the situation.
Yeah, and honestly, that's sort of how I was too. I was just absorbing everything that was happening with Hinata and Luminous and Roy and honestly, finding out that Roy has a twin brother, that's something else as well. A whole heap and ton of just crazy things happening and a lot of changes going on in this world that people just weren't ready for.
I like that they're also setting up multiple points of conflict as well at one time.
Oh, yeah.
Just one.
Yeah.
Because it makes it feel more like a political intrigue kind of thing if there's multiple fronts worth of things to be dealing with,
Yes.
Because you got Falmouth in one front that is basically dealt with at this point, but they still have idiots scheming to see if they can try to pull a sucker punch of some kind.
Yeah.
And then you have the dudes from Japan and the Harlequin Guild that's scheming over in the other kingdom.
Yeah.
And then you also have now a confirmed demon lord that is not really happy with the way things just played out. That is also got Hinata on her side, and she's scheming her own stuff.
Yeah. She's thinking about taking action against Rimuru in spite of Luminous basically telling her, don't do it.
And then you have a fourth one even, which is still Cromwell.
There you go.
Which, I mean, he seems really, lacking on F's to give about everyone else in their situation. It's just he's kind of somebody who Rimuru owes a punch in the gut at the very least,
Yes. Well...
That's just cool that they have all this going on at the same time, because a lot of times these kinds of shows are just more simple and shallow than that.
Yeah, very straightforward, and it's just... There's not much substance lacking underneath, but... I don't get that with this.
This is the kind of thing that's going to make me wish that I could write this kind of stuff better for D&D campaigns in the future.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, man. I mean, take example from this, and if anything, just adapt with it. Just adapt with it, and fine tune it to where you feel comfortable with it.
So I have to sit down, probably make like charts and stuff to keep my thoughts in order if I'm ever going to do something like this, because I need to be like, okay, if this entity takes this action, how are the rest going to react? What would they do,
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can really easily, I feel like, get subpar writing out of this kind of setup if you're not careful, because you can end up having somebody overlook something that completely wouldn't make sense for them to just overlook and stuff like that.
Yeah, true.
Different things.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that you could definitely do something along those lines if one thing you can do is basically draw out like consecutive plot lines that go along with your story, and then basically whenever you're on one, you can hint at overlap, and if like the people who are going on the adventure decide to take it, then it's like, oh hey, we're hopping back and forth now between the different plot lines, and basically you have to give them you have to make them choose hey, which one do you want to follow? Do you want to follow the one that you were on, or do you want to follow this new lead on this new plot line that you're not 100% on?
Yeah.
It may lead to something greater, or it may lead to you losing out on something.
And I feel like this would be a dope way to play late game Dungeons and Dragons too, because there's a problem with 5e, especially with balance. And once your characters are level 15 to 20, you're essentially becoming demigods at that point.
Yeah.
And it's hard to just challenge you with dungeon delves and bosses at that point, but it would be pretty neat to have it shift over to a whole political intrigue where, because you're that powerful now, you're making decisions on behalves of kingdoms or starting to rule your own kingdoms and having to deal with
the bullshit
of other kingdoms hating you and stuff like that.
Yeah. The thing is, I look at Micah when he was over earlier today. We basically were discussing a campaign that he was on, and they were doing one, and Micah and his crew are all level 16, so they're all very high up. And I said, so basically you're all a bunch of low tier gods just rolling in the deep. And he was just actually how they're planning it out and how they're pacing everything, they're basically eroding away a lot of our health with very well made traps. Either way, so I think that's going to do it for this one, everybody. This was The Saints' Intentions, Season 3, Episode 2. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. And until next time, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
Y'all be good people. Take care. Peace.